Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So today we wanted to talk about competitive mode, or what many just call ranked in Overwatch. Over the course of all of the Overwatch seasons, we've faced various challenges and issues, anything from basic rule set issues, an overcrowded gold/plat bell curve, and recently the meta becoming a little bit stale with triple tanks. There's a rather simple concept of a ranked mode in a game, and that is simply about improving at the game and playing against people in a much more serious sort of environment. And this has worked so well for many games out there, but there are so many other variables in Overwatch. We see people argue all the time that the matchmaking in ranked, as well as the initial calibration replacements, is a little bit more broken than usual this season. So we wanted to bring this up since it's a popular topic to discuss. We're sort of midway into the season now, so we've sort of worn ourselves in a little bit. And what we want to do in this video is to create a better image for you guys and ourselves to see what the real problems are in competitive play, and what kind of challenges you have for trying to play a full ranked season, and also what changes we would like to see in Season 4.
Usually you can look through each of the different skill tiers and identify some of the issues and problems you may face in the different tiers, but a lot of these problems transcend all ranks. Of course, there are some common ones still. The lower down the ladder you are, the more likely you are to run into a lack of communication and coordination with your team. Some of these issues, like the one we just listed, are not really related to how Blizzard have set up their matchmaking system, and there is very little Blizz can do with those players that don't really get involved in comms and don't really play as part of a team. But we also have examples of trolls and toxic players across the board and ranked. Now this is an example of a thing that Blizzard can do something about, with a more improved reporting system and different punishment for leaving games or just getting reported over and over. And this is probably something that Blizzard are constantly working on as much as they possibly can, but it's very hard to improve as well. On top of all this, we of course have the problems with the meta being a bit too stale recently, and the higher you climb, the more dominant some picks will just become. People play more towards the meta in higher tiers, at least in general, if there aren't some sort of niche picks where one person is incredibly good at one hero in particular, but obviously that is about to change too with more buffs and nerfs, so Blizzard are definitely on top of that. However, the higher up you get, there are also more smurfs, and even hackers to some degree. There's been many posts on different subreddits about the different hackers and new types of hacks on Korean servers that have really ruined quite a lot of Overwatch games, but a more common one on other servers and in other regions are smurfs. Now we've done a video on smurf accounts already that you can check out by clicking the YouTube card on screen right now, and this is also something that Blizzard have to kind of address if they feel like it's needed, but it's not really something they can do directly. Just banning smurf accounts all out would be kind of a weird thing to do now that they've kind of allowed it. And a lot of people and pro players as well have smurf accounts. But one point here is that there are a lot of problems from low down to very high up in the ladder, and the higher you climb, it doesn't necessarily become better and better.
So these are some of the negative aspects of competitive Overwatch, but I feel that these aren't the only problem here. There's also a lack of incentive to continue climbing sometimes, apart from trying to get a golden weapon or maybe hitting your season targets. But once you've got the weapon that you want or hit your target, there's very little reason to keep playing. So how could Blizzard change this and get people to continually play ranked? Or maybe add in golden skins. Well, not golden as in like the colour gold, but skins that can only be attained via the skill ranking currency that you use for golden weapons. Also just adjusting how it works a little bit, maybe getting more points per win so you can actually buy this stuff mid-season instead of having to wait at the end of a season. If they're worried about everybody getting the golden guns a lot quicker, then just up the price on them. I guess it's very similar to the gear system in WoW, at least for PvP. The more you play, the more sort of honor you get, and you can use that honor to spend buy gear or other cosmetics as well. Of course in Overwatch it would be purely cosmetic, but it might be enough to get people to focus less on their rank, season high, and the sort of overbearing season as a whole, and focus much more on the experience overall, progressing game by game, and setting smaller milestones throughout the season to keep going.
Matchmaking needs to be mentioned as well here, and whilst just making it better would be great and all, it's difficult to narrow down how Blizzard would do that. Season 3 has been accepted in the community as the season where matchmaking broke down. Well, at least that's what a lot of people call it. The bell curve of players stuck in high gold and low plat made it so games in that tier were inconsistent and a bit poorly managed. Overall, it just seems like people are too spread out now compared to the earlier bell curve where a lot of people were stuck in the middle. But how do we fix this? Well, one thing I guess Blizzard could try at least is to revert the changes to Season 2, but it kind of feels like that would be a bit of a mistake, just going back on your own word and your own decisions. For Season 4, we definitely appreciate a different way to do placements, or at least a bit of a different back end to it. it ultimately felt pointless for a lot of players in Season 3 to do placement games again, as they just started where they ended in Season 2. It's incredibly difficult to go into more detail here as we don't know much about how matchmaking works under the hood, but we do feel that more balanced games, or at least just better placement, is one of the main things that Blizzard should address for Season 4. And to be honest, I would be surprised if they aren't doing this already.
To finish, we asked you guys on Twitter whether you were still playing Overwatch competitive or whether you had stopped for the season. The poll was fairly 50-50, but we wanted to include some of your comments that you gave us on that tweet. I just wanted to say that there were a few tweets saying that they still play, but only when the sort of stars align, when they're on with the right people at the right time. Some play with 6 stacks, some just play with a certain group of people and nobody else, and it's all pretty understandable. It's very difficult to land any form of consistency in competitive, so bringing in a group of friends can help alleviate the stress a little bit and just make sure you're a little bit more prepared. Hogside added that they know they'll get the competitive points they need to get the golden gun on Mercy. That's pretty much the only gun that they want. And not only that, this hero, which is one of their favourites, is out of the meta and most likely people ask them to change. And as somebody that likes to play Mercy a lot, I definitely feel you there. It's frustrating when the heroes that you want to play are so out of the meta that trying to play him will just sort of annoy your team and they'll want you to run on Lucio. There are also a few comments of people that are worried about deranking or falling down the ladder. Maybe they've hit their sort of rank they aimed for and they don't want to fall out of it at the end of Season 3. We did a video a while ago going over ranked anxiety, so if you feel that this is you, then do definitely watch that video. But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Like we did with a tweet, let us know in the comments below whether you are still playing ranked or not, and if you're not playing ranked anymore, then do let us know in the comments why. But that's it for this time. Take care. We'll see you then.